Hi everyone, I'm Stephanie Brinkerhoff with Hair and Makeup by Steph, and today I'm going to be walking you guys through this bridal wave. This style is super popular right now, and it's great because it's also very timeless. So I want to walk you through the steps of how I would achieve this look. Let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so she has really nice thick hair already, but I'm going to go in and add a couple clip-in extensions in just throughout the back, just to help fill in the bottom down here and add some more volume. So most of the inspirational pictures that you see of really pretty all-down styles do have a lot of hair or some type of extensions in there. So this is going to help us achieve that look. So I'm just going to start down here at the nape. So I'm just going row by row, and I'm going to get this back combed at the roots. So I'm really packing this back combing in, making it pretty condensed in there. And then I'm just going to spray the roots with the Kenra Volume Spray 25. And then we can go ahead and clip our extensions into that. Okay, so I'm just clipping this right at the scalp. So all of that back combing in there is going to give these clips something to grab onto to make that nice and secure so these don't slip out. Okay, and then I'm just moving a couple inches up, and I'm gonna do another row. So I'm maybe only gonna do 3 or 4 rows on her hair, but depending on how much hair you want to add, you can definitely space them closer together or further apart. So most of the time when I'm using clip-in extensions in a wedding hairstyle, I usually place them in the back or wherever you're wanting the bulk. So if they were doing like a braid down the side, I would concentrate a lot of them over here, or if it's an updo back here, I'm putting them mostly down here in the back. I try to avoid putting extensions anywhere that's too close to the face or to the top. Okay, so now I have these all clipped in the back. So I stopped right around her parietal ridge, so I'm not going too high. And then I started with smaller pieces at the bottom because you don't want to go too close to the hairline as well. You always want to leave at least like an inch or 2 between the extensions and the hairline. I'm going to go ahead and start creating my bridal wave. So I'm just going to start down here at the nape again. And I'm going to work row by row, working my way up the hair. And I'm going to lightly mist the Kenra Hot Spray 20. This is a really good curl spray as well as a thermal protectant. So I'm going to be using a 1 1/4 inch wand, but you can also use smaller or bigger, just depending on the size of wave that you're wanting. So I'm going to do a little bit of a twist wrap. So I'm gonna take maybe a 2-inch section, and I'm going to get this all the way up to the roots, and I'm going to wrap it flat and then do a slight twist with my wrist. Wrap it flat, slight twist with my wrist. And I'm also going to leave the ends straight. So I'm not going all the way to the bottom. Okay, and then I'm going to drop that and let that cool like that. Okay, so this is kind of what you're going for. You don't want it to be droopy, you want it to be more on the bouncy side so that once you brush this out, you have a nice wave in there. Okay, so I have my next section, going to wrap it flat and then do a little twist. Okay, and you'll notice that I'm getting all of these curled in the same direction, so they're all going from left to right, so that once I brush this out, the wave is nice and uniform. And as you're doing this, if you feel like the curls aren't holding super well, you can always add more of the Hot Spray 20 so that it's a little bit more saturated. And you can also clip your curls while they cool as well. Okay, so this is what we're going for. I'm gonna repeat this process all throughout the hair. So as I'm doing this, I'm not going to curl anything around the face. So I'm gonna keep her hair tucked behind her ears while I curl. So I'm just curling everything in the back. So as you're doing this, you wanna make sure that the hair is nice and smooth before you get anything wrapped. So you can either go through it with a comb or just kind of run your fingers through it just to make sure everything's laying in the same direction. And then something else you can do if you're worried about longevity is bunch the hair up on itself on the wand. So I'm gonna kind of push it up like this so that it's all sitting really, really close together rather than spreading the hair along the length of the wand. So wrapping it a little bit tighter like this is gonna create a bouncier curl. And then as I'm holding this, I'm kind of using my fingers to feel to see when this is hot all the way through. And then I can drop it from there. Okay, so you can see now that I'm getting above her ear, I'm gonna keep this tucked while I curl. So I'm just over directing everything backwards. This is all going to get pinned behind her ear anyway. And so I'm going to leave that portion straight. Since this is getting tucked behind her ear, I'm not gonna curl anything by her face. So I'm starting like halfway down the hair strand. Okay, and then once this is all curled, you're just gonna go in with a bristle brush and get everything brushed all the way through. So you want to be really thorough with this. Make sure you get everything underneath as well. So this is where the product that you use is really important, because if I had used a product that was too stiff or had too tight of a hold, then I wouldn't be able to brush it like this. So the Kenra Hot Spray 20 is really good for this look. Okay, so then from here, I can go through and make sure that there's no kinks or anything weird happening. I can see a little kink in here that I want to fix with my flat iron. I also want to put a tiny bit more bend in the ends. So now I have a little bit of the Kenra Platinum Working Wax on my fingers, and I'm just smoothing this back behind her ears, and I'll go ahead and get that pinned. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna gently lift up the top layer and clip that out of the way for a second. And then I can get this pinned underneath here. Okay, so I'm just going right in here. Okay, and then I'm just going in with some of the Kenra Volume Spray 25, and I will go through and brush it one more time, and we will be all set. Okay, and that completes this bridal wave. Okay, if you guys have any questions or any requests for other styles that you'd like to see, please leave a comment below. And if you want to see more looks from me, you can click on this video right here. Thank you so much for watching.